But we're going to get back to action here pretty quick. This is the turn 19 camera. That's what we're looking at. So when they come here, a little short little shoot there between 19 and 20, and they'll back down the front straight. We'll see if they can come through 20 and down that front straightaway in an order that the starter is okay with, and we'll find out.
And you see here over in row 2 and row 3, they're still doing the weave here coming through turn 18. And that second row not girded up yet. A nice little pack there. And as a matter of fact, Brian, I'm seeing row 1, I'm seeing row 2, and I'm seeing a driver all by himself to make up row number 3. And then 2 by 2 for row number 4. That doesn't work out all that well. Hopefully they can get that figured out before they come through turn 20. Otherwise, we may have another wave off here. Like I said, there's a row all by himself.
Well,
that's the 51 machine.
The biggest issue is if they pop out early. As long as they're in 2 by 2 or at least 2 rows, I think they'll be fine.
All right, well, they have got the green, Brian, and they are now making their way up to turn 1. My thought there is that we had the 51 machine of Larry Howard. He was a row unto himself. And the next group was quite a bit further back as our FE2 field.
Oh, we got a spinner there, turn 1, 2 cars. Now everyone's got to avoid.
A number of cars around, and I think one of the cars that went around, one of our prototype cars might have been from the front row. I think that might have been John McAleer in the 77 machine, as we've got the second field now. Just getting the green flag and coming up the hill just as that car clears out, and now making the run up past the apex and down the hill with Russ Turner here for Willis, your leaders in Formula Enterprises 2, and they have now already started to stretch out. Lieutenant John Strickland and Pigeon all in a row. And then we've got the Continentals of Formula X still a little bit jumbled up there, but I have to look at this again. I think we might have actually, you take a look here at the front. I think McAleer is the driver that might have gone around on the start as we take a look at our leaders coming out. McAleer, the 88 machine, I think a white livery car. We'll have to take a look at. We'll have to see here as they come back.
Yeah, the car that spun was white and red. It's the last car here in the pack. Now making its way through. So it's this car right here is the one that spun. And in the second pack, there must be a sausage curb on the inside of turn 1 because there's a black and yellow Bumblebee-ish looking FE2 or FX car that hit that curb and got up off the ground, and the rear wing on that car flexed so much that I could see it on that camera.
Well, it's interesting here because I looked back to the Formula 1 race here 2 years ago. The W Series was one of the support races, and there was a big sausage curb right in the middle of the exit curbing of turn 1, and Abby Eaton drove right over that sausage curb and actually broke her back as the car came back down. She made it over towards turn 11 and parked the car, and she broke her back, had that surgery. She was out for about 10 months. So, needless to say, that sausage curb is not there right now. But indeed, Brian, it was John McAleer, the driver who went around at turn 1 as he drops into the order. Our leader right now, all Formula Atlanta cars. Larry Howard, your leader, in the number 51 machine. Again, started 5th in a row to himself. Jimmy Simpson in the number 7 machine. He is running 2nd. Then Chip Davenport, then Chip Romer. Davenport started on the outside of row 1. Romer started on pole, and they are now sitting back behind those 2 Formula Atlantic cars and splitting the rest of the Formula Atlantic field, where we've got Paul Rivera in the 5 and Jerome Mee in the 8 machine, currently running 5th and 6th overall. Our prototype 2 leader, and he had a pretty big jump on the field. It looks like Tony Ave, driver of the number 44 machine, and in that whole melee with McAleer going around, Tony Ave has taken the point in prototype 2. Brian, he's now into the top 10. He started much further back in the field. He started 26th in the field, Brian. He's now into the top 10. Our prototype 2 pole sitter, Lucian Pancia, started in 8th, and Pancia now finds himself almost 5, I think it's, looking at this as they come onto the back straight here, I think almost 5 car lengths back from Tony Ave in prototype 2. So that's been my McAleer really jumbled the field here in our first pack.
It did, and also we should give props to one of the Formula cars. I think it was a black number 44 that was able to get the car slowed down and actually stop, basically looking nose to nose with that car that was turned around, let the cars go by, and then was able to scoot around. But that could have been an unfortunate situation there.
All right, so our lead pack now coming out of turn 10 onto the front straight. It is still Larry Howard, your leader, but Jim Davenport and Chip Romer, they have now made their way around Jimmy Simpson, who's running second in Formula Atlanta. Moves Simpson back to fourth overall as they come up the hill. And ladies and gentlemen, that is probably the last time that you will see Larry Howard in the lead here today as Jim Davenport and Chip Romer get by that red number 51 Formula Atlantic machine. So drop Howard now back into third, where he's still your leader. Actually, he's sitting right between the two prototype cars, so he's currently sitting second overall there, and I expect that will change. Exactly.
that changed before they even got to the S's. As you can see right now, you've got your two prototype cars up front, and then that Formula Atlanta car now in third place. So you hadn't even gotten done saying the sentence, Greg, and that position had changed.
Yeah, indeed, as they come down in turn 11, and now going down to the inside on Larry Howard is Jimmy Simpson, and Simpson gets the pass done. So move Jimmy Simpson now into the lead in Formula Atlantic, third overall, and you have to ask yourself, where's the rest of the field? Well, a good portion of the field now in our second pack making their way up to turn 1 now as we take a look at this, again, this battle still going on. Battle for the lead in Prototype 1 with Davenport and Romer, battle for the lead in Atlantic, and Simpson holds off Larry Howard going through turn 12 as a lot of the other drivers still making their way around, and looks like we've got another driver that's gone around, and Brian, we talked about him earlier, the black and yellow machine, that's the 21 car. He's kind of extending the track a little bit through the stadium section, but is staying on course. But looks like a lot of drivers are, let's see, we've got the 47 machine that is pulled in over by turn 3, and looks like his race is now done. That is Darrell Wills in Formula Enterprises 2, and it sounds like the driver's getting out of the car.
You know, I was going to mention this earlier, but we got busy, and but we had 19 starters, Greg, in Formula Atlantic. I don't remember a Formula Atlantic race that wasn't the runoffs that had 19 starters. Back into the 90s, we had fields like that, but it has been decades since there's been this much popularity in the Formula Atlantic class.
All right, here, Brian, real quick, since we are now 11 minutes into this first race, let me make a call to the grid for our next group. Attention in the paddock, first call to the grid for race group number 5, that's Spec Miata. Please start heading to the grid. Spec Miata drivers, please start heading to the grid.
Well, there's your P1 cars working them through some. And a spin. That was your second place car in Formula Atlantic, I believe.
Yeah, that is Larry Howard. Looped the car coming out of it. See the elevation change as the track just kind of drops away like a tabletop as you come out of turn 12. And if you're a little late getting on the throttle, it's quite possible to have the rear end step out on you. Now, of course, Larry, for now, he's going to hold on to the position. He's got Hamilton and Rivera's next two drivers in line. Then Johnny Mee and Kevin Burry. And looks like Johnny McAleer, McAleer continuing to make a run, trying to recover, having started in third today. Last time across the stripe, he was down in 9th position. He's already made up 4 since, actually far more than 4 since he run around on lap 1.
Yeah, Chip Romer there trying to make a move going into turn 16 and had the door shut on him by Jim Davenport. Romer wants the point in this race. He does not want to let this car get away, and he's doing whatever he can can to get around here. So it was a pretty deep move. Was not able to keep it, but he's still right there on Davenport's tail there.
All right, I've been trying to pick up the Formula Enterprise 2 race, and right now, still, the wonders of multi-class racing, the Formula Continentals and the Formula Enterprise 2 machines, which have fairly similar performance envelopes, are somewhat mixed up. Charles Russell Turner, Russ Turner, who we saw take the bronze today in Spec Racer 4. He is currently running now 15th overall as he just passes me on the front straight, comes across the start-finish line. He's your leader in FE2. He's now got Adam Jennerjohn only about 4 car lengths back as they come up the hill. And you'll see there as they're working, I believe Russ Turner is in the white machine, the first car rolling down the hill. Then right after him is Jennerjohn in the number 71 machine. Then we've got a prototype 2 machine, then Whitney Strickland, who's running 3rd in Formula Enterprises 2. So real tight running here in FE2 as we are 5 laps into this 14-lap or 35-minute race.
And P2, Lucian Pancia is in first, Jack Donnelly is in second. So there's that race there. And Chip Romer still hanging in there, trying to put the pressure on Jim Davenport at the front of the pack as well. I think here is your FE2 class leader right there.
Yes. Yeah, the blue one machine, yeah.
Yep.
And there is McAleer. You see there, John McAleer trying to make up ground. It looks like on Larry Howard in the 51 machine. He's just gotten around Paul Rivera's in the red number 5. As he continues his march towards the front. Currently now, I believe he's now working his way up to 5th overall. We'll see that when he crosses the stripe.
You'll see the flag out there blowing really stiff with the wind, and this is the type of cars also which that wind can really make a big difference here. So we'll figure out, or we'll watch that as the day goes on here. So the pain caused by John McAleer's spin here early on the first corner, he's now 34 seconds back and trying to make up ground, but 34 seconds is pretty much unsurmountable unless we get a full course caution here, and that will be what he's hoping for. Going from the front row 34 seconds back in the blink of an eye, that is not the way he wanted his day to go. So.
No, certainly not, Brian. And I think, as you said, it probably the only way that's going to happen. All right, we've got 2 cars off here, Brian, I believe, over by turn 2. And I'm trying to catch the turn number right now, and I think this might be over by turn 2. And it is the number 3 machine that is now off.
I don't see anything on the turn 2 camera that indicates that, but there is some areas there that obviously we can't see off to the right there.
We'll have, here we go. The number 3 and the one is actually over at turn 12, not at turn 2. And we're showing now that they have both managed to continue. The number 3 machine of Kevin Fisher, driver of number 4, the driver of the Formula X machine out of Whitney, Texas. And then the 01 machine, that is Greg Byrne, also in FX, and that was likely, obviously, a battle for position in class. As that last time by, they found themselves sitting battling for 11th position in Formula X.
So Greg, we are at the halfway point here. Let's do another call to grid and then take our break.
All right, sounds good, Brian. Let's do that. Attention in the paddock. Attention in the paddock. Second call to the grid for race group number 5, Spec Miata. Please start heading to the grid. Spec Miata racers, please head to the grid now. Your race is next.
Well, that timing turns out good. We are now full course caution here at Circuit of the Americas. So we'll get this break in during that caution so we can bring all of the green flag laps to you once we get done. You are watching the Hoosier Racing Tire SCCA Super Tour live from Circuit de America. We'll be right back.
Brian, we've got the pace car now coming through turn 19. We should be going green this time by, and indeed we are, as all the double yellows now are being withdrawn and underway. Once again, Jim Davenport, Chip Romer heading up towards turn number 1. And here they go, side by side with Romer to the inside, Davenport trailing behind, and then right back behind them, it is your Formula Atlantic leader, Jimmy Simpson, in the number 1 car. He has already opened up a bit of advantage right now to the rest of the Formula Atlantic field as everybody else starts to funnel through. And you can see in these many Formula Enterprises machines, Brian, as they roll down the hill here, getting very jumbled up with Russ Turner in the number 21 machine. He's looking for a way by. Adam Jennerjohn has not been able to get it done yet, but we are now waving over at sounds like turn 1, as it sounds like one of the cars is now continued on. So we had maybe a previously left turn 1 might add an issue over there. We'll try and get the numbers here in just a moment. But we can see now coming out of turn 11, coming out of the hairpin, the first car in that group is the prototype of McAleer.
Oh, here's a pass for the lead. Woo! That's going to be Chip Romer getting around Jim Davenport. Sorry to jump in there on you there, Greg. But yeah, pass for the lead there. We'll see if he can make it stick here for the rest of the stadium section.
And he has opened up a nice little gap there. That car that went around actually was over at turn 4. It was the number 5 car of, that was the 5 of Paul Riveras in Formula Atlantic. Had been running 4th in class, and that's going to drop him further back. And you can see there, still not quite getting that car underway. As
I'm seeing 2 cars off in the distance. One at the...
I'm seeing actually 3, Brian, now, I believe. We've got 1 driver's left. We've got 1 driver's right just at the edge of the blue and white. And then there's a third one a little bit further down. The first one, the one closest to us, driver's left, you can see moving along. But I think there's still another 1 driver's left.
This qualifies as a schmozzle, I believe.
Yes, I believe it is. Brian, as our leaders are starting to make their way into that direction, with Romer followed by Davenport, and then Jimmy Simpson, our Formula Atlantic leader. And looks like that first car that got back underway, he is definitely off the pace. He's staying over into the red area over there, and we'll see if he continues on or if he tries to find a cutout. And Brian, we are going to get a checkered flag this next time by. So gonna end this race a little bit early. I think the folks in race control might have exceeded their limits, but with the multiple cars down there in the S's, and it sounds like we might have another car off as well.
Yeah, this turns out to be one of those situations where if they went full course now, they wouldn't get it cleaned up before the end anyway, so.
Yeah, exactly. If we have multiple cars there and off pace or dead stick, they're certainly not going to be able to do that. So the folks at the finish stand do have the checkered flag in the area, and the word I'm getting from race control, it's because they do have one of those cars in a bad spot. We now just saw the number 1 machine come down the pit lane. Looks like he had enough, ended his day a little bit early. As our leaders now, you see, coming down out of 18 through 19, and Chip Romer opening up a good gap now to Jim Davenport as they come onto the front straight, and taking the win is going to be Jim Davenport. And Brian, I think here, crossing the line, Jimmy Simpson gets around Chip Romer on the last lap. So Romer, who was our leader, and actually he may be one of our injured cars here, because I'm showing Romer now drop through the field like a stone. Davenport with the overall win and taking the win in Prototype 1. Jimmy Simpson finishing second, our winner in Formula Atlantic, just ahead of Larry Howard, with John McAleer, who had that lap 2 spin, the first green flag lap, and McAleer crosses the line 4th overall, with Bruce Hamilton in Formula Atlantic finishing on the 3rd step of the podium in Formula Atlantic, finishing 5th overall. To Kevin Burry, Jerome May, Jim Booth. Russ Turner gets around Adam Jennerjohn with 1 lap to go. He takes the win in Formula Enterprises 2. He finishes just ahead of Adam Jennerjohn. They finished 9th and 10th overall, respectively, with Whitney Strickland taking home the bronze in FE2. He finishes 11th. And interestingly enough, they all managed to get ahead of the P2 field, Brian. Is Lucian Pancia, he is going to hold on to the win in Prototype 2 in the number 99 machine. Tony Ave will come home in second after Ave jumped out to that early lead in class, finishing 3rd in P2. Jack Donnellan all the way back in 17th position. Our Formula Continental winner will be Trevor Russell. And we'll track the rest of the Formula Continental cars. I believe Hunter Tapman finishing a distant 2nd in Continental. And then finally, let's take a look at Formula X. In Formula X, Robert Wright is going to take the win. Mark Russell will come home in 2nd. Brad Yake will come home in 3rd, with Victor Mock 4th, John Getch 5th. And Ashlyn Speed, who took the win yesterday, she only completes 10 laps. She may be in one of those injured cars as well.
That is what I'm thinking there for that situation. If we were giving out a Perseverance Award today, Greg, it'd have to be John McAleer, you know?
Certainly.
With that first green flag lap spin hanging in there, and then the receipt of the gift from the problem, whatever the problem was that Chip Romer had, he's able to squeeze out a 2nd place finish in class, and just by sticking around.
All right, and you can see here, and actually we still have a couple of cars coming across the line taking the checkered flag. But Brian, I think that's going to close things and end things up for a star-crossed Formula car and prototype car race here. We can see the number 23 machine, Jim Davenport, taking his checkered flag. We'll see if they send him out for the victory laps. We still have all that cleanup going on over the S's, and you can see a couple more emergency services vehicles heading out that way now. But let's do this. Let's make a final call to the grid, Brian, for our next group, and then we'll take a little break and get ready. Attention in the paddock, final call to the grid for race group number 5, Spec Miata. Please start heading to the grid. Your race is next. Race group number 5, Spec Miata, to the grid, please. All right, so let's take a quick break, Brian. It may not be so quick. We don't know. They're going to have a little bit of cleanup to do here in a couple places around the track. But when we come back, it's going to be Spec Miata racing from the Circuit of the Americas, where you are listening and watching. I have to break out of that habit. You're not just listening, but you are watching the 2023 Lone Star Grand Prix presented by the Lone Star region of the SCCA, part of the 2023 Hoosier Racing Tire SCCA Super Tour. And we will be right back.
I got lucky. So there was a lot of cars spinning and doing the fun things on the track, and it was very crowded, but I'm pretty happy about that. Thank my engineer, Angelo Zara from Angela Suspension, Hoosier Tire, and somewhere my wife lets me do this, so I love it.
All right, great job. Hop up there. Top 3 finishers in FX. It's Bob Wright, Mark Russell, and Brad Yake.
Woo! Let's go, Brad! Woo!
Somebody save your soul.